got this year? More or less?
More, absolutely more, and here's why. Just look at the numbers. So last year he threw 9 in 4 games. I'm not a math major, but 9 times 4, right, carry the 1, that's over 36, plus an extra game. And so, hands down, 35 plus, and the Cowboys are going to be great this year.
All right, Dak Prescott coming back from that injury. Jeff Saturday, you're next. More or less 1,600 yards from scrimmage for Ezekiel Elliott.
More. Listen, everybody's talking about how hard he's trained in the best shape of his life. You're looking at 3/5 of their offensive line coming back. Collins, Tyron Smith, and Zach Martin all come back. And with Dak in the backfield, who can be dual threat when he needs to be, it opens the box up. Zeke will get big rushing yards this year and also be complimentary in the backfield on the pass game. So look for him to have a big number, big year for Zeke Elliott.
All right, Kimberly, you're next. 9.5 wins, more or less for the Cowboys this year.
Oh, Greeny, I'm going more. I'm all in on what Jeff Saturday is saying because after that disappointing season last year, this is a team, forget everybody is on a mission, including Zeke Elliott. So I think these guys are going to be loaded this year, and they're going to win the NFC East.
Mm-hmm. More. The Cowboys, always outstanding in July. So they traveled to Cali yesterday in preparation for their training camp, and as always, expectations are high for a team that has not made it to the conference championship game in 25 years. Here's another person who's very high on the Cowboys. That's our Bill Barnwell in a new piece on ESPN.com in which he ranks the skill position talent of every team in the NFL. The arsenal, he describes it. So it's the offensive skill position players, but not the quarterbacks. He's got the Dallas Cowboys second. Look at them there. The other teams around them, 11-5, 11-5, 11-5. Obviously, the Cowboys lost their quarterback, but he has them with the second best arsenal, and they get Dak back. And so, Jeff, let me ask the question to you this way, because, again, it's always more with the Cowboys in the summer. Is this the best chance? It's been a quarter century since Jerry Jones' team was even in the NFC Championship game. Is this the best chance they've had to do it?
This is the best chance. Look, when you think of the offensive firepower this football team has, man, they are loaded to bear. The ammunition that Dak Prescott is going to walk in with, if their offensive line can stay healthy, and I mentioned it just a second ago, Lael Collins, Zach Martin, Tyron Smith, 3/5 of their offensive line that missed 36 games last year. If they come back and can protect Dak, you have 3 wide receivers who can make hay. Cooper, Lamb, Gallup, you look at that. You look at Zeke Elliott and what the possibilities for him. And listen, the running game is not only the quarterback's best friend, it's the defense's best friend. So when you talk about what Dan Quinn wants to do on that defense, if he can get them middle of the road, Greeny, I'm not even talking about a top 10. If he gets that group to a top 15, top 12 type defense, this team can win a bunch of football games because they can control the clock on the offense with Dak and Zeke, and they can play complementary defense on the back end. So when I look at this team, this is definitely their best chance with Dak coming back, all the energy surrounding this team. I look for him to do some special things.
What about you, Sacho?
Yeah, I do think it's the Cowboys' best chance, but it's for a few different reasons. It's because the NFC, in so many ways, is rebuilding. So we look at New Orleans, Drew Brees has retired and he's gone. And you look at even the NFC East in particular, and Philly's going through some rebuilding, and the Washington football team is going through some rebuilding. And you look at New York and they're going through some rebuilding. And so Dallas has a great opportunity, number one. But number two, and Jeff, you mentioned it, it's the hunger. So Dak lost out on a full season last year, really 3/4 of a season. The Cowboys lost out on a huge opportunity, and we talk about CeeDee Lamb, you talk about Michael Gallup, you talk about Ezekiel Elliott, you talk about Amari Cooper. There are all these weapons, but take all the talent aside, you've got a quarterback who's not only hungry, but he's a leader. This dude puts his body on the line, and when a quarterback puts his body on the line, the entire team plays for that man.
Kimberly, is this the best chance the Cowboys have had to get to the Super Bowl in all these 25 years?
Yeah, Greeny, not just because the NFC East is a big question mark, but the NFC as a whole. When you, y'all aren't right. So when you look at the NFC as a whole, there are a couple teams that you see, okay, besides the Bucs, that have a chance to be Super Bowl. But it's the AFC that's actually loaded. So really, the time is now. You got Zeke, as everybody's mentioned.
Yes.
He's hungry. Dak is coming back from injury. Everybody is looking to, in Dallas is looking to prove that last year, that's in the past. They're trying to settle some scores, and I think they have a good shot.
All right, we will wind up seeing. The optimism is impossible to miss in everybody's mind, and maybe you will all be right. And I would love to see it happen.
Buy it.
I'd love to see it happen for Dak and everything else. As a rule, people don't get hungrier when they get the huge contracts, and pretty much everybody on that team got the huge contracts. Turned down a 2-year extension this offseason. Here's more of what he said.
Can the two sides figure out a way whereby maybe they could knock off 2 years of that contract and allow Aaron Rodgers to leave Green Bay after the season? And would that be enough to bring him to camp next week? I think either way, if and when Aaron Rodgers does show up for this season, this certainly looks like it will be his final season in Green Bay, with him expected to leave after this season. I've been told that Aaron Rodgers is all over the place, and this changes his mind quite often about what he does and doesn't want to do.
All right, again, the football crew is here, Sacho and Jeff Saturday. But Kimberly Martin, we start with you, because as you were watching the fans in Milwaukee, these great fans in the state of Wisconsin celebrating a championship last night, I know you had thoughts going through your mind.
Greeny, I could only think of writing a letter to Aaron Rodgers, and it goes like this. Dear Aaron, wouldn't it be great if the state of Wisconsin not only won 1 championship, but 2 this year? Wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't it be great if you followed up Giannis's legendary performance with your own Hall of Fame type curtain call? Just give the fans 1 more year in Green Bay. Because otherwise, I think that sounds pretty good, but you need to tell me, what do you want? Do you even know what you want? Because I know you're engaged, so I'm going to give you some marriage advice, because I've been married 7 years. At some point, you can't just be mad at your partner. You got to tell your partner why the hell you're mad. You got to be able to communicate what it is that you want them to do and whether you want to be there. So please, Aaron, let everybody know. I want to hear from you. Do you want to be in Green Bay or not? Because we're doing a lot of speculation, and really ultimately you have to decide where you want to be. And hopefully for the fans in Wisconsin and Green Bay, it's back in yellow.
I love it. I mean, I absolutely love it. So that's the open letter. So if you're Jeff Saturday, if you get that letter and you're Aaron, what do you want? What does he want? What are you thinking as you're watching this conversation take place?
He wants out. Listen, that's the one thing that's been consistent with Aaron, right? I mean, he said that, Shefty reported that, I think, way back in April or March or whenever it was, and when this saga began, and just talked about he's ready to be out of Green Bay. The issue is Green Bay holds all the cards. And when you're sitting as a franchise with a 3-year contract, he has nowhere to go. So his only leverage, Greeny, is to hold out for regular season games. And I understand the hope that, hey, we'll get this done before training camp or when training camp. He can't put pressure on the Packers until he misses regular season football games. And then ultimately he's trying to get the last 2 years of his contract cut off. So if he does play, like Kimberly's saying, hey, this is his best chance to win the Super Bowl. There's no doubt in my mind with the Packers this year, after 2 NFC championship games that they've fallen short, this is the chance, right? Here's your opportunity. But ultimately he wants those back 2 years cut off. So when he is done playing in Green Bay and the curtain call happens, hopefully in the greatest moment for him, he moves on to the next organization.
And Sacho, with your history with the Players Union and his having been involved in so many ways, you've dealt with him in ways and seen him in circumstances that most of the rest of the world has not. With that sort